Toho is giving Godzilla Minus One a sequel, with director Takashi Yamazaki back at the helm. Today on ScreenRant, let's look at 4 storylines that the movie should include. Looking back on Yamazaki's career, there's plenty to suggest we'll see more World War II era military action, and he's even been quoted as saying that you can't have Godzilla without it being in the Showa era. That at least keeps us in a period piece. So we could expect a direct sequel somewhere in line with the original sequel, Godzilla Raids Again. In that film, Godzilla returns, only to face off with another monster, Anguirus, which is secondary to Godzilla's warpath. Ideally, we could even have Shikishima or Tachibana working together once again to help stop whatever kaiju replaces Anguirus as Godzilla's foe. Noriko's mysterious rash could suggest any number of things, including her impending death or some form of radiation sickness. However, if it is something more outlandish, we think there's a great opportunity to feature a new version of Biollante. Not with Noriko's rash in particular, but with how Godzilla's radioactive devastation has affected other things, like plants and nature. It would be only a small departure from Biollante's roots in its 1989 film, where she starts off as a cross between Godzilla and a rose. But what if Yamazaki tries something truly different? Godzilla Minus One could be a one-and-done story, with the sequel tackling a new iteration of the King of the Monsters. If that's the case, perhaps the series should eschew expectations and introduce a new kaiju for Godzilla to battle. Perhaps whatever it is could draw on the ending of Shin Godzilla as inspiration, meaning Godzilla would have to defeat its own ghoulish mutant offspring. That said, if the only option is to bring back a classic kaiju, then we'd be interested to see Yamazaki go back to his space battleship Yamato days and introduce the space aliens made most famous in the Showa-era Godzilla movies. This could also entail bringing Monster X, aka King Ghidorah, into the mix. He was originally paired with the residents of Planet X back in 1965's Invasion of the Astro Monster, wherein they used him as a fake threat in order to entrap Godzilla and Rodan. This was all part of a plot to essentially blackmail the people of Earth, which we imagine wouldn't make it into Yamazaki's career. Either way, we've seen quite a bit of the three-headed monster in the American Godzilla franchise, but he hasn't shown up in a live-action Toho production since 2004's Godzilla Final Wars. It would be a treat to see him make a villainous return over 20 years later. And that's our list. What do you want to see in a sequel to Minus One? Thank you for watching ScreenRant and stay tuned for all your Goji news.